Hiya, I'm Perry from Rennet and Rind, and you're here for another week of your mystery cheese boxes, which I've been putting together for you for got a long time now. Lockdown's been very, very long, and luckily the sun has come up, so we quickly run outside to do this outside because it's always better to be in the sun than indoors. So as always, I've got 5 cheeses that I've selected you direct from our maturing rooms in Cambridge. All these cheeses have been tested by myself. I'm a well cheese judge, a patron of the Academy of Cheese, qualified affineur, and yeah, this is a good selection this week. So we're going to get straight into it, so everyone can begin rather than me talking about other stuff. So let's get straight into the first cheese that you have, which is, we've had this on our board maybe about 4 weeks ago, but it's such a great brie, it's always great to bring it back, and that is the Baron by God from Johnny and Dulcie Crickmore in Suffolk, and it's just looking phenomenal at the moment. So this is raw milk, so we don't heat treat the milk. It's from Holstein and Friesian cattle, so they're about 72 to 80 cows, and basically Johnny and Dulcie make this amazing cheese. It's modelled on a French cheese called Brie de Meaux, which they're really famous for in France, and we brought it to Britain, and with our amazing milk quality that we have, our beautiful pastures, we've made this superb cheese. So let's just go through the tasting. So visually we take a look, as always, the rind is white, indicating that it's got some penicillium kind of on the rind, which is a mould that kind of is formed of bries and camemberts and cheese like that. The paste is yellow, indicating that it's a cow's milk cheese. I've already told you that, but that's where you get the idea of what kind of cheese and milk it is. And the texture is really interesting. We've got this dual texture, so not as old as usual. That kind of, I bring them on for quite some time to get them really unctuous and runny, but I really wanted this dual texture, which you can see here, this runny on the outside, this oozy unctuousness. So essentially we cut in, we've done the look, that's the first tick off the box, and then we cut a bit off. As I always say, don't worry about cheese board etiquette. I probably could have gone down there, but just get stuck in and enjoy it. That's the biggest homage you can pay to a cheesemaker. Get stuck in and enjoy it. We go for aroma first. We have a smell, salty. This one's actually tastes quite beefy. Beef kind of savouriness that I can smell. There's a little bit of milk in there, grassiness, you know, not too pungent, quite light. And then of course the key one, which is flavour, so we give this a try. This one has a superb salting balance, not too salty, which is nice. Mushroomy edge. The bitterness of the rind is getting in there a little bit, but I'm not mad about it. It works really well. Loads of legs. Really punchy, this one actually, punchy. A little bit of a lactic edge at the end. All in all, you know that the flavour that you're getting is that you know this kind of cheese means business. It's like got some seriousness about it. It's not kind of singing on all one hymn sheet. It's got loads of things going on about it. Good longevity, starting to dissipate now. Really good cheese, fantastic British brie. Yeah, I think you're going to really enjoy that one. Normally I go really unctuous, really runny, very powerful. This one's a little bit more on the delicate end and less legs, but beautiful claggy texture in a good way. Next cheese we have up is a Lincolnshire Poacher, but as you do the first check, which is visual, yellow, so cow's milk, and then you take a look on the outside, and orange. Now we've been talking about annatto, which is a food colouring that you put into the cheese from South America. This isn't because of annatto, this is because smoking. So we have our first smoked cheese on our board. Now most people, you know, cheese people really get into the idea that maybe we shouldn't put these types of cheeses on cheese balls because they tend to be really big, powerful flavours. But Lincolnshire Poacher have got a guy off site they've been using for years. He cold smokes them really delicately, and I think you can have them on boards, providing that you take a break. I mean, who doesn't love smoked cheese, and who doesn't love smoked cheddar? So it seems like a bit of a waste not to have it on there. If you try a bit and you find it a little bit too overpowering, then just just kind of maybe like leave it to the end kind of thing. But you'll work that out, and it will work well with all these cheeses, and it brings something that all these cheeses do not have. So yeah, so let's cut a bit off right off the nose there. Smoke. Yeah, I mean that's pure what you're getting, like smoked bacon, cured smoke, if that's a thing. A little bit of a fermented edge, you know, like kind of umami kind of thing that you get. I think that's it, you know. So let's get into the flavour. Beautiful texture. I wasn't expecting the texture to be like that. I tried this obviously earlier in the week. The texture's evolved. It's slightly drier, what makes you salivate more, which is great. Awesome tang, and then a little bit of smoky bacon at the end, which is obviously to be expected from the smoking. But for a smoked cheese, really delicate. That's not going to overpower these cheeses. It really isn't actually. So that's made in Lincolnshire, raw milk by Tim and the Jones family. Really beautiful farm, Holstein again. Poacher is so popular. Now the smokiness is coming in. It's got a long longevity, and that smokiness lasts, but it dissipates nicely. It's a kind of rounding off quite nicely. Beautiful cheese, that really nice. And then we move into an old favourite of ours, which we've had on before, but I'm really kind of digging the sheep's cheeses at the moment. So this is Burks. It's a really nice sheep's cheese, and it's made in these shapes, which is kind of colander. That's how they used to make them, and I think I've explained before in the past that a lot of we used to make a lot of sheep's milk. Sheep's were far more sustainable, and for farmers back in Neolithic periods, you got wool from them for clothing. Cows, obviously, you can only use their skin once, so sheep's were kind of more popular around. So we're kind of accomplished sheep farmers, and then cows came in, and you know, milk, and people just that became popular. So sheep's kind of died out. This is unpasteurized. And I've been really digging it recently because it kind of creates this new dimension, this batch that I've got. I mean, this hasn't changed much since the last one, but if you have a look at it, it's got this beautiful hard rind on there, which is kind of like stone, and it's got if you smell it, it's got this really pure sheep smell. So if that's not your thing, don't give it a sniff, because that is like pure wool, I suppose. But really nice, kind of like if you're into that kind of farmland, you know, when you go and visit old MacDonald's farm when you're younger, that might be a good thing or a bad thing. It's just like that. It's real. It's like gnarly. It's there. The smell actually of the paste, which is the bit we're interested about, tangy, lemony, a little bit sheepy, nothing too massive to write home about. Texture is a little bit pliant, but crumbly. Taste is just delicious. I'm really loving this cheese at the moment. It's got like that oiliness kind of to it, so it coats the mouth really well, and also this like manchego typical Parmesan dryness which is there, and it's just got this beautiful savouriness to it. I can't depict quite what that is, but it's got some frothiness there, and just some nice bouncing around lemony notes, some caramels that are in there. That's a beautiful cheese. I think you're going to really enjoy that one as well. That's still up there to be like sort of one of my favourites, because I keep on going back to it at the moment. Your blue cheese this week is made by Mike in Ireland. He's the first person in Ireland to make a raw milk cheese, blue cheese. Mike is a little bit mental. I think there's a big story that someone told me that, you know, the Selfridges or someone like that, Harrods, wanted to stock his products in the deli counter. All the Irish cheesemakers went down, suited and booted, how you should, I suppose, go into Selfridges. Mike's a bit of a hipster, you know. He turned up in these kind of cool glasses. I think he had a moustache at the time, you know, tracksuit bottom, kind of hipster vibe. And I just think he's a really cool person, because who does that? And he just makes great cheese. Now, obviously, as you can see from the shape and the rind, if you're used to these types of cheeses, it's Stilton-esque. It's Stilton-esque, but it's very, very punchy, really punchy. So as I cut through with a knife, I kind of got a little bit of stickiness. So I'm already thinking the texture is going to be really nice, really nice. The bluing isn't too prominent, but it's thoroughly blued in there. The rind, that's where all the activity is happening. I mean, it's gnarly. You want power, then move towards the rind on your flavour, you know. As predicted, texture is phenomenal, like so good. Yeah, it like dissipates, it's sticky, it's got that kind of, I don't know, it's like a pulled pork vibe, do you know, when it kind of gets stuck in your teeth? Flavour, tons of it. I mean, I'm struggling to work out what's going on there. This has been in my maturation room for probably about 3 months now. That breakdown, proteolysis, which is the breakdown of proteins, lipolysis, breakdown of fats, has worked out perfectly there, and that what gives us this amazing texture that's in there. Signature blue flavours, you got that tang there, that spiciness at the back, but like they're massive. I mean, the flavour is just huge. That, to be honest, that is one of the best blues I've tried in a very long time. It's, yeah, that's amazing. That's out front for me at the moment. I will not say any more. Get stuck into that one. If you've got a friend of the family who loves blue cheese, everyone has that maniac in the family that's just crazy about blues. Cut them off a piece of that and send it to them, because that is phenomenal. Really good, really good. Young Buck. So that's Young Buck by Mike's Fancy Cheese. It's been in our maturation room for about 3 months. Beautiful. The last cheese that we have, which I'd probably resuggest the order. I always do something different at the back, but the tasting notes indicate you should have this last, but I'm going to kind of promote it on my cheese board that this probably should be one of your first, to be honest. This is a goat's cheese, which is made in Ireland again by a lady called Marion, who was Dutch, and she came over here to teach people about cheese, and she kind of set up the first school of cheese, kind of not a school, but an idea where she would go and see people and teach her Dutch making, you know, of cheese. The Dutch are phenomenal at making goudas and those sweet cheeses. This is a goat gouda. So this week, I mean, the highest complaint that I have, or the problem that I find, most people are like, don't want any sheep, don't want any goat, but please give them a go, because so many people I've gone, you know, I know what I'm doing, please try them and see what you think, and just give like different British cheeses a go. Give them a go. And so many people have come back to me and been like, that's the best goat's cheese I've ever tried. It's a completely different experience, and this is exactly the same. This is really high on the sweet level, so we can see the paste. Once again, that white colour indicates goat's cheese. The rind is not edible, it's plastico, which is basically like a plastic, semi-permeable, but locks a lot of moisture in the cheese. This is a younger version, so we've got a little bit of pliancy, it breaks apart. Flavour, which on smell, but I wanted to get straight in there. Texture is light, pleasant. It's hard to come away from that Young Buck, that the texture was just so amazing. This one's just lighter, but a nice texture, kind of like that solid, you know, when you have an ice cube kind of thing and then it dissipates and melts quite nicely. Good balance, lovely mouthfeel actually. Really nice sweet balance, like on the freshness and the sweetness level, you know, they're running alongside each other perfectly, and it kind of creates this caramel sweetness that's there, which is just beautiful as it goes alongside. And then you've got like this freshness that's always there from the fact of it being goat's milk, so that sweetness kind of gets lifted up, which is really nice. It's actually really Moorish. I can just see myself, you know, after this, my family, we sit down, we eat all this cheese, we get our little one to go through actually all the tasting profiles on the big wheel. It's a fun game that we have. Maybe you guys should probably do that at home with your kids, get them to try some proper British cheese. And this one might be like up there because it's just so Moorish and easy. You know, you could just sit there with a beer and just kind of get through that slowly and not even realise. Really nice. So I think you can probably tell I'm very upbeat about this board because it is actually really good. You've got a blue which is pretty much the best version of the blue that I've had in a very long time. This lovely beautiful dual texture. You've got smoked cheese, who doesn't like smoked cheese, and that awesome cheddar profile from Lincolnshire Poacher. The delicateness of the Colleen. Burks well just on fire with the savouriness. Really good stuff. So that's your 5 cheeses for this week. So I think they approximate round about, you've got a kilo of cheese, you know, for £32. You've actively once again ate more British cheese, which is so important at the moment. Because I sent out a video and I did a blog post the other day. You can check that out on rennettandryan.co.uk. Sorry, I haven't set up .com yet. It will get there. Just about Innisbrook and Innis cheese, who are these amazing goat's cheese makers, and I'll be doing a video in a couple of days about them because I've only got like about 20 to 30 of them left, and unfortunately they've decided to get out of the cheese game and sell their herd due to the coronavirus issues that they've had. And it's such a shame. It was absolutely heartbreaking to hear that these cheeses, which the Innis cheeses, which are available on our website only until stocks run out, won't be around anymore. And they've kind of been cheeses that taught me a lot about my palate, and taught me a lot about goat's cheese. So we're going to do a video on those 2 cheeses at some point over the next couple of days as homage to them. But they're called Innis cheese. Go check them out on their social media. You know, try some of their cheeses. If you've tried it before, you know, send Joe and Amy a thumbs up, because they've done the British cheese industry an absolute service in delivering amazing goat's cheese. So many people who hated goat's cheese now love British goat's cheese because of them. So keep on eating British cheese. Support your local independents. They really need it at the moment. Drop down to the deli, ask what's British on there. If you want to support British cheese and you love what we do, please buy from us and come online and see what we've got to do. Any questions that you have, always just give me a call. You can contact me at hello@rennettandryan.co.uk, and I will answer any questions. I'm always on my phone because I love people who love cheese. So I'm going to go and enjoy this cheese, really enjoy the Young Park. You look after yourself and have a great weekend, yeah?